Coming up in this week's show, we embark on a quest to find a vehicle for a first-time buyer with a budget of 300,000 rand.
We find out if a long-serving Mitsubishi Pajero is a good used buy.
And we discuss whether it is advisable to buy a vehicle from an online auction.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week, Shane Assad from Velocity X and Obi Mogaditwa from Eagle Ford, the good car guys. Welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@emissiontv.co.za and please include as much detail as you can. Plus,
Things with a question from 32-year-old Sejo, who is interested in buying his first car with a budget of 300,000 rand. He's asking whether it's necessary to pay a deposit when buying a car without the option of a residual. Obi, you'd be the guy to speak to.
Yeah, so if you get approved without a deposit, why put it in? Just to give him an idea that for every 10K, you're saving 200 Rand a month on your installments.
Okay.
So, you know, I would rather take that deposit and go settle a credit card or settle something else and finance the full amount over whatever period, 72 months. So he's looking at a budget of 300,000, which means he's going to pay 6K a month. So if he's comfortable with that and the finance is approved with no deposit, why put a deposit?
And then no residual as well.
And no residual. So if the finance is approved without a deposit, go ahead, do the deal.
So what you're saying, it's basically, it's from an individual, each individual person is different. Because if I come along and say, look, I want to have no deposit, no residual, they may say, no, you're with your finance record, no, you can't.
Correct. It's also at the bank's discretion.
Yeah.
If your credit score is low, where you are a weak, I hate using that term.
Yeah.
A weak finance score is low.
Yeah.
Then the bank might require you to give a deposit.
They want a bit of security from you.
Correct. Some sort of commitment from your side.
What is the sort of, is there an average deposit on a car?
Well, we used to work on 10%.
Okay.
But nowadays, no deposit works. You can even put a 5,000 Rand deposit if you want to get the deal where you want the installment to be.
So there's no like standard, okay, for every car is a 20% deposit or 10% deposit. Okay.
No.
So you can get that option of a zero deposit and zero residual.
Over 72 months. These days, banks are even going 96 months.
What would you say he should buy for his 300,000 Rand, Shane?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Should he buy new or second hand?
I'll definitely go second hand. Definitely. Look, I don't know how long he's looking to keep the car, but taking an assumption he's 32, probably has a family and kids. I'm making a full-on assumption here, but at
How's your family and kids?
they're great. But I would definitely go second hand. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck, especially at that age. You kind of want something a little bit more established. You're starting to get to that point, families asking you questions, you know, when are we having our kids or grandkids or whatever. So you kind of want something that has a little bit of status and says, look, mom and dad, I am making it.
Maybe you could grow into the car.
Exactly.
Because you make actually a good point about that sort of age in terms of buying a car. You know, even if he's not married or have children or whatever, if you're thinking of it at a later stage, you know, maybe the girlfriend's putting a bit of pressure on you, don't go out and buy a Mini.
No, of course not.
You know, buy something, say, okay, look, you know, I can buy something now that's a little bit more spacious, maybe an SUV or something in the 300,000 Rand mark, that in 2 or 3 years' time, and I'm still paying for this car, you know, and maybe we're going to have kids or whatever, we don't have to go and sell this car now to buy another car.
Exactly.
You know, so that's good advice.
but it's his first car.
It's his first car.
Let's see if he can buy something new in that budget.
Yeah, so I mean,
then he doesn't
get
have
a new car.
He doesn't have the hassle of
Yeah.
buying an extra warranty with it and all that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to buy a second-hand car with some warranty left on it, you can buy new.
Yeah,
Get
I mean,
full
nowadays with the
warranty on
long warranties, you could buy a car that had a 5-year warranty that's 2 years old, that's fallen into, that's still got under factory warranty.
The balance of it, yeah.
Yeah, so the balance of it. So, you know, have a look at what you can buy in that segment and have a look at your future requirements in terms of what you need.
Okay, our next viewer is Never, a 30-year-old currently driving a 2016 Toyota Etios that is still under finance. He wants to trade it in and buy a 2016 or 2019 Hyundai Tucson. He wants to know if the Tucson is a good and reliable car. Never plans to use the vehicle for commuting to work with estimated monthly mileage of around 600 kilometers. He intends to keep the car for a very long time, as it will serve as a family vehicle. His budget is between 250,000 Rand to 350,000 Rand. Guys, Obi, what will he get in that budget? Or should he just keep his Etios? But seeing how his family is
Sounds like he needs a bigger car.
bigger
Yeah,
car,
yeah.
he needs a bigger car. Or would you put him in something other than a Tucson at that price?
So I think a Tucson is spot on. It's a lovely vehicle. It's a good vehicle. Trading it in, I don't know how much he still owes, how long he's had it for, but it looks like he will be able to get out of the Etios into...
It's a Toyota Etios. Put a funny number on it, someone will buy it.
Someone will buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Tucson that he wants to buy at the price that his budget is, I think he can make it work with trading in the Etios for a Tucson. So I mean, they go for anything from about a 2016 255 to about 350.
Yeah.
So it's still within his budget with the trade-in that he wants.
So I looked online in that sort of price range, and you pick them up from anything with, I saw them as low as 60,000
Yes.
kilometers up to like 100,000 kilometers.
Yep.
So you may find some low mileage one. What is your feelings on the Tucson?
Tucson's great.
Yeah.
And that's a very good car. My only worry with this whole question is I don't think he's anticipating his monthly mileage properly here. A total of 600 kilometers a month, which includes monthly trips to Mpumalanga and back to Gauteng with his family. I feel like that's a bit off.
Yeah. Just the one thing I would say, if you've had something like a Toyota Etios, you know, it's the kind of car that if you forget to service it, it just keeps going. But in terms of a turbo diesel, you know, with a Hyundai Tucson or any other turbo diesel vehicle, you need to service those things regularly. So factor in your maintenance costs.
Yeah.
Factor in every 10,000 Ks, I need to take my car in for a service. Have the oil and filters changed and looked after, because it's a lot more sophisticated than the Toyota Etios.
All right,
So-
before
something
Adam
to-
jumps in here, I'm going to give you
I've already
his
jumped
car.
in.
I'm going to give you his car. Was the Honda CR-V.
Yeah.
You should look at a Honda CR-V in this price range, and then he doesn't have to worrying about those services and all that. He can just drive it forever.
And this is from somebody who actually bought a Hyundai Tucson, so it's actually good advice. I mean, you bought a Hyundai Tucson. I mean, it's a great car, but it's also good advice that if you want a family car and you want something like a, Honda CR-V, is a fantastic, fantastic car. Okay, stay tuned, because after the break, we find out if a long-serving Mitsubishi Pajero is a good used buy.
Absolutely. And mid-size SUVs from VW, Bs from VW, BMW, Kia, and Mercedes come under the spotlight. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Danny hails from Namibia and would like to know if a 2012 Mitsubishi Pajero 3.2 Exceed with 120,000 kilometers on the clock for 270,000 Namibian dollars, which is equivalent to approximately 270,000 Rand, is a good buy. He will be driving approximately 10,000 kilometers a year and will be using the vehicle for occasional gravel road trips. Guys, is it a good buy?
Definitely.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I mean, you
Okay.
vow by the Pajero.
Next question.
I just had a bit of a ding, ding, ding moment there when I looked and I said, okay, a vehicle that's 12 years old, 128,000 kilometers, and is from Namibia.
Just
People in Namibia, I think, drive a bit. So the one concern would be, are you sure the mileage is correct? So that's the first thing. So obviously go along and check things like service history on the vehicle. Does that all correlate? Is that mileage correct? Because to find a Pajero, people who buy Pajeros,
Right.
it's not to go to the shop and back.
Yeah.
We go on expeditions. It's like a Prado. You look at Prados, they're 5 years old and they're on 250,000 Ks. Why? Because they're all over the country.
All over the place, yeah.
So just check that. But back to the question, is that a good buy? Of course it's a good buy. It's a fantastic car. And I mean, the Exceed's the top of the range job, if I remember
yes,
correctly.
yeah.
Yeah, so really, really good. Shane, I mean, you just nodded. Yeah, Pajero, go buy it. Like
Oh, yeah,
Silvio
I
says,
mean,
yeah, it's good.
Definitely. I mean, if you say so, I'm sure
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
I mean, they're strong, they're perfect. And if you found that, that Halo car, because that's really what it is.
Yeah,
low
that's like
mileage.
10,000 Ks a year or something.
Eddie,
Literally.
if
12 years old.
if he doesn't want to buy it, just phone me. I'd
You
buy
know,
the damn thing.
I think Adam's got a point there.
Yeah.
Because that Pajero is such a good vehicle. It probably has got 1 million 128,000 kilometers.
The one
but the
fell off.
one doesn't come through.
Now just check that. Check the service history. Verify that mileage is there. Maybe it's fine. It's maybe somebody who just drove it around
Yes.
Swakopmund or whatever, you know.
And it's easy to check a car that's got excessive mileage.
Yeah.
Check at the pedals, check at the wear and tear on the steering wheel. Look at the dash, look at the things peeling off if there are any. And if all that is in order, then it's right.
Just to put a stamp on what you're saying, Adam, I looked on the net. There was a 2013 exact same car with 256,000 kilometers.
See, that I would
see?
agree.
So double the
Literally
mileage
double the mileage.
at 300,000.
Yes.
So that's why I have this ding ding moment.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So-
like, is it not too good to be true? Maybe it's his Boots car, you know? Take it off my hands. I bought myself a new one. But just be careful with that. Okay, moving on. Eddie is planning to buy a used mid-sized SUV in November 2024. And he would like expert advice on which models to avoid in terms of high service maintenance. He's considering the following vehicles in order of preference. VW Tiguan 2-litre TSI, I think we've mentioned that earlier today. BMW X1 xDrive 2.5i, BMW X2 S-Drive 2-litre I, and the Mercedes-Benz GLA 250, and the Kia Sportage GT. And his budget's 500,000 Rand. He prioritizes low maintenance and comfort. Fuel consumption, it's not a concern for him. Shane, giving you 500K, what are you going to go buy in that bunch?
So the problem is that there's what you want and there's actually what's, reasonable and, is rock solid. I'd probably go with the X1 or the X2.
Yeah.
Most likely one of the two. I love the GLA, but I know from a performance, but reliability point of view, and also service maintenance costs are going to be a little bit lower.
Look, in terms of the BMW, I think it's a nice option. But he's choosing the crappiest engines out of the lot.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy BMW, buy the 2-litre diesel Obi.
Yeah, 2-litre diesel, I was going to say. But out of the lot that he's chosen, I'm going with his first choice, which is a Tiguan with 162 kilowatts. For me, it covers all, it ticks all the boxes that he wants. He wants comfort, and he wants, newer stuff, newer technology, and the Kia Sportage. Those are my two options out of his lot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Again, back to the Tiguan, what I've said on a number of occasions, stay away from the petrol turbocharged engines. They're expensive to maintain.
Sorry, man. Let's come back.
Yes.
To the guy said he would like expert advice.
Oh, yes,
Why
sorry.
don't you keep quiet? Let the experts talk.
Yeah.
No, but like Adam was saying, the Tiguan is a non-entity here.
Yes.
With all the problems and the trouble that it comes with.
You're going to buy a Tiguan, you buy a diesel version.
Yeah.
That is the thing. The engines, they don't last long on those.
And I would go with your option there. I like the Sportage.
The Sportage.
Yeah.
I like the Sportage. I would definitely go with the Sportage.
Yeah, if you want something a bit more, if you want a snob value, I
And the
think
BMW, yeah,
the BMW X1
with the diesel
and
motor.
with a 2-litre diesel. Stay away from the petrol engines.
Yeah.
Because they have problems with timing chain failures, turbocharger failures. There's a lot of issues with those engines, especially when they get older. I mean, if you're buying one and you're going to keep it for, 3 years. If you can buy any car, brand new, and you keep it 3-4 years, buy what you like. Who cares? But if you want to keep something for longer than like 4 or 5 years and it's out of warranty, go for something that's proven reliable and it's popular when you come to sell it, because you're not going to have those expensive maintenance issues that do crop up after the warranty. When the warranty, the day it expires?
Yes, the very next day.
There's a little clock in every car and it goes tick, 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 break, So
I think you mean tick, 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 tick,
bomb.
boom.
Yes. So, go for something like that. The X1, I think, is quite a nice option, but it's not as big as like a Tiguan.
Yeah.
And I like Segi's option of the Kia Sportage. I think it's all really but 500,000, I would throw other cars in there that I'd look at. I mean, somebody mentioned earlier in the show, a Hyundai Tucson. You get a Hyundai Tucson 2-litre diesel. It's a lot more spacious than he's got there. It's going to, with his budget of 500,000 Rand, he'd be able to buy something with very low mileage on it. It should still have warranties.
And your CRV, Adam.
And the Honda, back again to the Honda
Back to the Honda
CRV.
CRV.
I'm surprised you haven't thrown in Pajero.
Well, the problem with trying to
it's
find a Pajero
way
for
too
500,000 Rand is
And high mileage.
it's difficult to find them with high mileage. There's like a Pajero Sport, maybe, something to have a look at as well. Even, we can throw in the Fortuner if you don't worry about the...
Deft risk.
Yeah, well... And then, of course, things like Obi's Ford Everest,
Yeah.
You
You also mentioned X3.
Yes, the BMW
Yes,
X3 is a
yeah.
2-liter diesel. You're going to get a slightly older one.
Yeah.
In that sort of budget, but you get something decent if you want a bit more space. If you're not worried about the space, the X1 is option. Maybe it's just, him and the wife or him and the partner, whatever it is nowadays. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we discuss whether it is advisable to buy a vehicle from an online auction.
And we examine the long-term ownership prospects of a Renault Clio GT. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Jabulani is currently looking for a double cab bakkie with a budget of 250,000 Rand. He's considering purchasing from an online auction to get the more modern vehicle at a lower price. He spotted a 2018 Toyota Hilux Dakar and a 2016 Ford Ranger Wildtrak, all these top of the range stuff, with a starting bid of only 68,000 Rand for the Toyota and 95,000 Rand for the Ford. What a bargain. He seeks advice on whether his budget is realistic for these bids and wants to understand the pros and cons of purchasing a vehicle from an online auction. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go to Obi.
Jabulani, take your 250,000 Rand, bring it to me, let me give you a car that you can be sure of from a reputable dealer, and you save headaches and problems. First of all, online auction. That's what we said. Just auctions on its own, it just gives me goosebumps.
Online auction, isn't that translated into scam?
Scam, yeah.
Yep.
I think it means scam.
Stay away, stay away, stay away.
What I'd like to know is from Jabulani is how much they asked from him to hold the Hilux and the Ford.
Well, he's obviously just seen it on the line. Starting bids. Whenever you see something too good to be true, Shane,
Usually is.
what does it mean?
Yeah.
There's only one or two scam artists around, Facebook Marketplace and places like this, they've got no scam artists around.
I mean, for those prices, I'd ask simple questions like, does it have an engine? Normal things.
Does it have, is it just the 4 wheels for the car? Or, okay, so let's be serious here. Anything that's online that you cannot go and physically see yourself, turn the page. Go to the next page. Go to Obi and buy a car from Obi. Do not go to something like that, because what will happen is that they'll go and take pictures of these vehicles. This is going on auction, 95,000 Rand for a Wildtrak. Obi would be on there buying 10,000 of those vehicles.
Those things, yes.
Saying, send them all. I'll take them all. Even if I'll give you double that for them. Am I right, Obi?
100%.
The guy at Toyota is looking, saying 65 for a Hilux.
I'll get 20,000 of them as well.
This is a bit of a wink, pull him in. And then they're going to say to you, all right, your bid is accepted at 125,000 Rand. We just need the 10% deposit today to hold the vehicle for you. Bye-bye money. It's gone. Do not do that. If you're going to buy a vehicle, and this is for everybody, if you see it on a website, don't phone them and say, hey, but I dig that car. I'm sending you money. Just hold it for me. I'm coming. Physically go and see it. Go and test drive it. Check that everything is in order. Is this a legitimate place? Do not do that. Go to somebody like Obi at Eagle Ford, the good car guys, and they'll sort you out. Don't go to these online auctions.
These auctioneers are based in Johannesburg, while Jabulani is in KZN.
Of course. And if you
says,
phone them and he said, where are you? They ask him, where are you? And he says, I'm in KZN. We're in Joburg. Where are you? I'm in Joburg. No, we're in KZN. They're never near you.
Oh, yeah.
We'll ship it to you for free.
yes, for free.
We'll
Shipping
throw
is free.
it free. It's free. It's so cheap to throw a double cab bakkie on a tow truck and send it to KZN in the middle of nowhere, and we won't even charge you for that. Don't worry. It's fine. It'll be perfect.
But being serious, like you said, like Obi mentioned, bring your 250K to me. I'll find you something in that budget that's great. It's a great buy. It'll be a good buy. I'm not saying it'll be an awesome buy or whatever, fantastic. It'll be a good buy. You won't rip him off because you'll have to answer on the show when he comes
100%.
back.
So, these scammers are very good, because what they will do is they'll say, Toyota Hilux Dakar, not just Hilux single cab that's come from a mine, it's done 500,000 CAD. It's not that. It's a Dakar. And it's not just a Ford Ranger.
It's a Wildtrak.
It's a Wildtrak.
And it's got the full kit.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's got a lifetime warranty with it. Okay, so
Lifetime of pain.
please do not do that, because we're going to move on to our next question.
Our last question is from Sean. and Sean is currently driving a 2020 Clio GT line and the manufacturer's warranty has just expired. He is concerned about the costs of aftermarket maintenance. Sean is seeking advice on the longevity of the Renault Clio and whether it would be advisable to keep the car or let it go based on its reliability and potential maintenance costs.
I suppose that's always a concern for any car,
Any
isn't
car,
it?
yeah.
What do you think of the Clio GT? That's the 1.2, not the,
Yeah.
the 900 cc.
I think it's a good little car. It unfortunately has. It comes from a place where a lot of great things have come from, like croissants and whatever the case is. But the problem is it's French. That's the issue.
Yeah.
You
I
kind of
can
need
see a lawsuit building here. Here's another one.
that's the issue. They're great cars, but sometimes it's not even the cost of parts. It's also servicing from a local point of view. For example, my mother-in-law had a Renault Duster. Terrible after-sales service. Terrible. I think she had it for 6 months and got rid of it.
Yeah.
Bought a VW. It's just one of those issues. Small teething issues, unfortunately, but my main question with this is what's the mileage on the car as well? We don't
Well, if
know.
it's just got out of the warranty, if memory serves me
5
correctly,
years old.
it's
What,
about
100,000
100,000
k's?
Obi, Renault Clio, it's quite a popular car in terms of, I think it's a good looking car.
Yeah.
I've driven the GTs, it goes nice.
Yeah, it's a good looking car, but for me, that's all it's got going for itself. It costs after warranty manufacturer has expired, the warranty that is. I feel like he needs to get rid of this car. He's used to being stress-free, being in a warranty, being in a service plan. So, he's a guy that I assume that he
wouldn't have asked this question
if
he
it wasn't a problem. Yeah.
if he didn't matter to him.
Yes.
If this was a Toyota Corolla and the guy just got a warranty, would he be
It
asking?
will be different.
No,
he
it
wouldn't be asking. Yeah.
Because of,
Because it's this kind of car. It's a Renault that I would give advice to say trade it in, get something under warranty. It doesn't have to be. You can still stick with Renault, but get something that is still under warranty, and you don't have to worry about.
So let me tell you about the couple of issues that they do have. One is quite common on those cars is a timing chain failure. So in terms of cost, if you have to replace that timing chain, in the region of about 8,000-9,000 rand to replace it. So if you're happy with those sort of costs, I mean,
Even more if more's damaged.
yeah, if it breaks or whatever, then there's obviously a problem. But those problems can be prevented by regular maintenance. The fact that you're out of your warranty now, I would say you shorten your service intervals. It's a turbocharged engine, so it would love some nice clean oil every 10,000 kilometers, as opposed to the 15,000 kilometers as recommended by Renault. So have your car serviced at least once a year every 10,000 kilometers and make sure that whoever services it, and you can go aftermarket. There's tons of really good guys out there. If you want to know how to find somebody, just ask family and friends. Where do you send your car? How long have you been going there? Do they look after you? If there's a problem, do they run away or do they fix it for you? And find yourself a good workshop, because there are lots and lots and lots. Most of the guys that running private workshops now used to work for a dealer, and they have come out. There's lots of specialists in French cars, German cars, English cars, whatever it is. You'll find those kinds of guys. So you can service it aftermarket and you will get a cost saving. So as I say, one of the big problems with those cars is you do have timing chain failure, and a lot of it's to do with if that car's got stop-start on it, you make sure you switch it off permanently. Every time you get in the car, switch the damn stop-start off. And then, of course, turbochargers, they're known to fail. But generally they fail because we don't change the oil regularly enough. So every 10,000 kilometers, have the oil changed, get it serviced and maintained. And if you have any issues like any water leaks and stuff like that, get it attended to immediately. And I've seen those cars doing 200,000 Ks without many problems. But it's a European car, and European cars love maintenance. They're designed to have maintenance.
You can't look in your crystal ball like you normally do and tell him potential maintenance costs. Could be anything.
Well, you've got two opinions there. One is Obi's get rid of it. Mine is keep it and maintain it, because I own a workshop. Okay. And with that, and he owns a second-hand car dealer. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's show. Shane, Obi, once again, thanks for joining us here in the studio and all your insightful information. I'm sure our viewers are ecstatic about it. Thank you very much.
Until next time, remember to keep left, path right, and please keep it safe on the roads.